Okay. Good morning, first year students. Now we begin the classes for you. That is the introduction to Indian philosophy. The moment we hear about philosophy, then perhaps what comes to our mind is more of Western philosophy, because that is the domination which it had. The word philosophy that is so much associated with the Greek philosophy. So the Greek word philosophy, philo and sophia. Philo means love, sophia means wisdom. So love of wisdom, that could be the literal translation of the word philosophy. When we think about philosophy, we need to know that philosophy means an inquiry, getting into or questions which we ask. The best example of an inquiring mind is that of a child. If you have observed the children who is behind the mama asking 1,000 questions, and sometimes so much disturbing, the mother had to give one answer or the other. The child keeps on asking number of questions. Why it is like this? What is that? What is this? And keep on. It is so inquisitive. So one of the aspect with regard to philosophy is the inquiry. You are or you want to know the why of things. So the best way that we can define philosophy is that it's an inquiry into whatever is being seen, experienced, and then you begin to reflect over that. Philosophy as such, it begins with a sense of wonder. You begin to wonder at the things around you, just like the child. It looks around and sees so many things. The trees, the buildings, people walking, and different animals moving. And it just begins to wonder, what is this? So that would be, philosophy could begin with a sense of wonder. And from that sense of wonder, you begin an inquiry. What is this? So therefore, we can say that everyone is a philosopher, because he is trying to understand or ask some questions with regard to certain experience or something which he or she begins to see, understand, and discriminate that something is different from me and the other is a lot of difference between. And therefore, an inquiry is made, what is this? So we can say the beginning of philosophy is that of that inquisitive mind, or it begins with the sense of wonder. You look at the sky, that's daytime is there, nighttime, then we come, or sun, moon, stars, different things around you. You begin to make an inquiry into what are these. Now, philosophy is not exactly going into that. There is something much more. Means when I say that philosophy is about asking questions, it is not any questions, but those fundamental questions concerning life. So it's not asking when you meet a person on the way or whom you have seen, perhaps you'll say hello and then wish. Maybe you ask, how are you? As an ordinary way of beginning a conversation. So philosophy is not that, but little more deeper. It is going into the fundamental questions about life. What is life? Where does it come from? And what is this human beings? How they have come on earth? What are these animals, the plants, the universe? So many things are there which are not immediately known to me. So I begin to ask more and more deeper questions regarding those. And they become the revelation for me. Gradually I begin to get some answer, or I am going in search of an answer for these. So they become so fundamental, so important for me to know. So these are the questions which are concerning the philosophy, the fundamental questions which we ask in life. What is life? Who is God? What is God? What is the role played by Him? This creation or the whole creation I can see, where did it come from? And then I begin to inquire or begin to ask more and more important questions like that. Then I come with a lot of maybe more confusion than the answer. But gradually I begin to make little progress into the inquiry. So that's what a philosophy is about. So philosophy is trying to find out the secrets of nature, the real answer to the reality that is seen around you. What is this? What's the nature of man? Where did he come from? What is the end of man? Why when someone dies, what is after death? So what is this religion? How it has come about? So there's so many things to be asked. So every time the mind is going to seek an answer. Therefore, we can say philosophy is concerned with the understanding of life and the universe. It is aimed at comprehending the nature of existence. Philosophy is a human endeavor that leads to ultimate truth. The goal of philosophy is the ultimate truth. What is truth behind that? Behind that, what I see, what I experience, my life, the life of so many people, then I begin to ask more and more questions into that. What is it? So that is what the philosophy is. It's a human endeavor that leads to the ultimate truth. My inquiry into the existence of so many things, not only me, but there are many things existing. Where do they come from? To what purpose? Who has brought it? How it has come into existence? Or when things go out of existence, where do they go? Why it has to be so? Then from one question to another, I begin to make an inquiry. So philosophy is going to ask fundamental questions, a number of questions with regard to life and our experience. The English word philosophy has its root in the Greek term philo and sophia. The term philo refers to love and sophia refers to reason. So we can join them together and say philosophia, the love of wisdom. The Greek term can be literally translated in English as love of reason, love of human judgment and discrimination. So that is going to be the literal meaning of it. From the perspective of the Western understanding, philosophy is that. That is, you ask so many fundamental questions and you deal with these different branches of this philosophy or the science in a separate way. There is something quite different when we come to the Indian philosophy. So from the Indian point of view, the word philosophy suggests observing and surveying. The word that is used for Indian philosophy is darshana. Drush means what is seen. So it's not mere seeing. So darshana is much more. It is a deeper contemplation into the aspect of things as they are and then the existing. We are going to ask the fundamental questions into that. So we are going to look deeply. It's not mere seeing, but much more than that. The Sanskrit word darshana has its root in the word drush, which means to see, look, or to view. Seeing or viewing, the literally, and it's a facts of experience forms the basis of philosophy. So a lot of things, it means how do I see? That's my sense perception. I have the panchendriya, the five sense organs, which brings in a lot of information for me. My eyes, my ears, then my hands or sense of touch, hearing, seeing, tasting, and the nose smell. All these things bring into me constantly lot of information, and this is processed. It goes on and on. So I have my sensual experience or the sense perceptions. They are the first-hand information report is made by them. So darshana is not mere seeing, but much more. That is a introspection it comes to. So senses, mind, and even consciousness are involved in this seeing. So what are the all things involved in this seeing? Darshana, that is the senses, mind, and even consciousness are involved in this seeing activity. Seeing may primarily be perceptual observation with my eyes, but it may also concern the conceptual knowledge or an intuitional flash. Thus, darshana suggests vision. In other words, darshana is a whole view revealed to the inner self, what we term the soul or the spirit of the inner being. Philosophy or darshana is concerned with the vision of truth and reality. So from the viewpoint of the goal of philosophy, that is truth, be it Western or Eastern, the goal of philosophy is the search of truth. That is going to be the way. Leave alone what means and what are the terminology that we use, but the goal is there, that is to know what is the truth. In Sanskrit, the philosophy is also referred to as tattva, tattva samhita. The Sanskrit word tattva is concerned with the nature of reality, and that is another word that is used. The Sanskrit word for philosophy is tattva. So tattva shastra is the philosophy. In India, philosophy is not restricted to mere intellectual pursuit. According to Indian view, the word philosophy is concerned with the revelation of the nature of reality or the vision of the ultimate truth and reality. So it is not purely intellectual speculation when we come to the aspect of Indian philosophy. So Indian philosophy has a comprehensive view. So it doesn't treat separately for metaphysics or different psychology and different branches of science separately. Rather, it is whole. In a one comprehensive way, it tries to understand the human being and the various influences he has got, the man as the center. And therefore, the word darshana has got much more deeper implication than mere seeing. It is a more of the seeing with the internal eye, that is with wisdom, and we are trying to understand that. Indian philosophy has its root in the Vedic period. So we may ask, where did Indian philosophy begin from? So we need to know how the beginning or what made the rishis, the teachers or great persons, rishis, and those who wanted to really know the depth of the existence of the universe, rishis and gajaryas, they have gone into the forest meditating deeply over the question, what is this universe? Where does it originate? What is man? They have asked the fundamental questions. They sat in long meditation to know the deeper implication of this universe, the life and its implication and all that. So great rishis settled in a peaceful, invigorating environment of the forest, meditated over the fundamental questions of existence. What is this world? If it is a creation, what are its constituents? Who is the creator? What is life? What is truth? What is the nature of reality? So these great persons or the rishis and the acharyas or the sannyasins, they have spent time considering these fundamental questions. What is truth and what is reality? How to come in terms with that? So there are a lot of differences you find. Then where lies, on what ground these differences are there? And then the main question could be, what is this life? How do you account for the life and its nuances? And definitely they sat in meditation and something was revealed to them, and what they got as a revelation or through their deeper meditation, they began to compose them in hymns. Maybe in the beginning it's only an oral transmission of what they have understood, what they have received. Writing down of them came much, much later, but in the beginning it was all individual who went in search of an answer to the fundamental questions regarding life, regarding the universe, the very existence of the universe and the different living organisms there. So they began to ask questions, trying to find what is that ultimate end and what is the truth, the reality, and all that. Went on discussing and finding an answer, and whatever they got as an answer, they began to transmit it orally to the persons who were sometimes their followers or to the contemporary of their time. They began to tell them what it is, what they have experienced. Indian philosophy distinctly exhibits a spiritual bent. The essence of religion is not dogmatic in India. Here, religion develops, philosophy progressively scales higher planes. One difference we will find between the East and the West is that here the spirituality is an integral one. There is no separately treating it. So along with the human being that is treated, that is spirituality of human person. It is not purely speculative philosophy, but it's very much practical, life oriented, and it is very much interwoven with the life of human being. Some of the fundamentals expressed in the Indian philosophy and the Western philosophy may be similar. One aspect from the point of view of their goal, it is truth which is searched by both. In East and the West, the human mind is in search of the truth. So from that point of view, there is something similar. However, Indian philosophy differs from the Western philosophy on several counts. While the Western philosophy deals with the metaphysics, epistemology, psychology, ethics, etc. separately, Indian philosophy takes a comprehensive view of all this. So there is one aspect in Western philosophy, you will find each branch of this philosophy dealt in a separate way. That is the metaphysics, epistemology, psychology, moral, ethics, and all that dealt differently or separately, whereas Indian philosophy takes a comprehensive view of all these topics. For an Indian philosopher, philosophy is something beyond an intellectual pursuit. So it is not going to be purely speculative, separate from one's life as it is not. It is very much connected with the life and activities of human being. What is human being in search of? What is his ultimate end? And how does one achieve that ultimate end? Or with the inquiry into what is truth, that's going to be the real goal of the philosophy, be it East or West. I need to, or I want to reach the truth, I want to grasp what is the truth and the reality. So, for an Indian philosopher, philosophy is something beyond intellectual pursuit. The Indian philosopher exemplifies philosophy in his life. His intelligence, knowledge, and wisdom are reflected in his life. That is why his life positively influences the life of the masses. So, devoid of pure intellectual speculation, Indian philosophy finds so much of a resonance with the life of the human person, and therefore this why his life positively influences life of the masses. So what is my philosophy of life? So that's what I believe, and I'm convinced I live that philosophy in my life. So there is no dichotomy between what I really am convinced of and my life. That goes hand in hand in the Indian philosophy. Darshana, it's an aspect of an inquiry or looking into deeper into the fundamental questions of life. So it is not separately dealt with other branches of science, the philosophy that is epistemology or psychology or metaphysics or ethics, which the Western philosophy will deal in a separate independent groups or department, whereas here it's an integral whole together as one unit. That's what we find in the Indian philosophy. So from the part of philosophy we can say that as it is an inquiry into the fundamental questions of life, but a difference we can make in the Western philosophy and Eastern philosophy. West, perhaps it is more of speculative way. Of course there is a different type of philosophy that's called existentialism, which is dealing with the present situation or what is my life concerning and how it is going to affect and all. That is existentialism. For us Indian philosophy, the word that is used is darshana, whereas for the Greek philosophy it is a philosophia. Philo and a sophia, love of wisdom. So wisdom is that which is important, which we seek both in the West as well as in the East. Wisdom is important. So a wise man is one who has really understood what is the life, the principles of life, and where it has begun and where is it going. So everything is dealing with life. The similar way, so from that point of view we can say there is some similarity. Both of them agree on the point that a human being becomes the center of activity or his relationship. So we can say that a human being is considered or conceived in such a way that he is related in three ways. That is man's relationship to God, man's relationship to world, and man's relationship with one another. So this is a triangular relationship in which man is found. Man to God, man to world, man within, around himself, or man to man. So his relationship with other living organisms. So this is the fundamental thing which we are looking into, or the darshana. What is that makes the person or important or gives him a stand in life. In order to understand human being, Indian philosophy is trying to categorize or trying to see man from different perspective. So Indian philosophy uniquely describes 4 purusharthas of life. So when we deal with the human being, Indian philosophy will say that there are 4 goals in human being's existence, 4 goals of life. So what are those things which a human being is striving for? 4 goals of life called purusharthas, something which gives him a reason to live for. So what are those 4 things? That is artha, kama, dharma, moksha. So 4 purusharthas are there for which he is striving, spending his entire energy for that. So the 4 purusharthas of life. So 4 basic ends or the purusharthas of human life as recognized by the Indian tradition as follows: artha, kama, karma, moksha. 4 ends. That means all my attention is directed towards that. 4 ends in life. So something for which I am striving. I am trying to make a meaningful existence here in pursuing these 4 ends. They become almost a goal of my life. I want to achieve that. That is the first thing is that artha, then it comes to kama, karma and moksha. 4 ends or purusharthas of human life as recognized by the Indian tradition. What is artha means? Artha Shastra, there is one. That is the economics. Artha Shastra. Artha means, the Sanskrit word artha means that which one seeks. Artha. Whatever activity and physical material man needs to support life can be considered as artha. So whatever activity and physical material man, activity and physical material man needs to support life can be considered as artha. So artha covers up all that, what is required in life to support life. That is the wealth, money and all such things are required for supporting life. The food which you eat, it supports your life. And then the bodily activity in order to make you keep on living. So in a broad sense covers man's professional activities. So artha covers in a broad sense all the professional activities, job, business, wealth, property and all such earthly material helpful in maintaining his life. So the first question of man will be to, when he is hungry, he is looking for food. How shall I earn my food? How do I get my food? So things begins to roll one after another. So everything from that one to one, that is when I am hungry, I am thinking of how to get food. How to get food? I need something. So it goes on. The needs are multiplied as our wants go on increase. And then I am working for that. So I have to till the ground, maybe I have to plant, then it produces, then I can eat, it goes to different activities. So everything that supports the professional activities, job, business, wealth, property and all such earthly material helpful in maintaining the life of a person. That is covered by the artha or the wealth. We can call that artha means the wealth, different things which are required for supporting or the continuation of life. From artha we move on to kama. Kama is the man seeks pleasure in various activities and material objects. So kama is the pleasure. So there is one, that is artha, that is all the wealth we can say, which helps you or leads you to the next one, that is kama, the pleasure. What drives you, the most or the deepest emotion in you is that is want to be happy, want to take pleasure. So that's a big drive in human being to seek pleasure. So in the various activities of his, maybe he tills the ground and produces, so he is happy. So he is able to do work and exercise and make yourself fit to live. That also makes him happy. So the desire for, that is the activities for the material objects. Pursuit of happiness and pleasure is a basic natural instinct in man. The basic natural instinct in man is to seek for pleasure. So he has to think of that. Man derives pleasure from relationship and material objects like food, drink, etc. This is kama. Man largely accumulates artha for kama, to satiate his hunger for pleasure. So artha, or the wealth, is that which he wants or he possesses or he is striving to possess in order to satiate his hunger for pleasure. So this kama is, the man largely accumulates artha for kama, but artha and kama should lead one to dharma. That is the third aspect. They are linked with dharma. They should be directed towards dharma. So that is what is purifying aspect of that. So we have artha, kama leading to dharma. Dharma is the proper or the rightful action. Dharma, which means sustains. That which sustains is dharma. The word dharma stems from the Sanskrit root word dhir, means to hold on to one's nature, to support. Dharma sustains or maintains life. Dharma supports the society. Man lives in the society with fellow men and various life forms. Dharma lays down duties and obligations expected of man, an individual and the society, for their conduct and actions. Get guidance from dharma. Man has an obligation to his own self, to the fellow men, and to the society, in fact, to the whole environmental world or environment of the world. All the mutual obligations of these interrelationship are spelt by dharma. What is dharma? Dhir means to hold on to your nature. So dharma for a student will be that hold on to his nature. What is he supposed to do? Study. That is the dharma for the student, and studying well. Dharma of a person or an agriculture or the farmer is to justly do his work. That is the doing, or dhir, holding on to the nature. The dharma of a dog would be to hold on to the nature of the dog, that which makes a dog, that is the dharma and nothing else. And dharma of a human being is to be a human being and nothing else. If a human being turns into a beast, then it is adharma, going against the very nature of the human being. The same way, the dharma of a mango tree is to produce mangoes. If the mango tree is going to produce jackfruit on one day and then peanuts on another day, or some other fruits, then we are totally confused. There is no more dharma, no holding on to the nature. So holding on to the nature of that particular species, that is going to be dharma of that. Only then that is a continuity, or that is what is it meant for. So dhir means to hold on to the very nature. The dharma of a donkey is to be a donkey and nothing else. So dharma of a cat is to be a cat and nothing else. That which makes a cat as a cat is that is the dharma of, or what is that essence of a cat is. So that is to be seen as the very aspect of dharma, that means to hold on. So every human being is expected to behave like a human being. Dhir, that is to hold on to your nature of a human being. The moment you become adharmic, or the moment you become a beast like, you devour, you negate all your reasoning capacity and you become worse than a beast, then it is adharmic already. So you have chosen something in a different way. So therefore not working in accordance with the dharma. So to this aspect, so dharma is very important in the sense dharma is called the Ritha of the universe. So whenever this Ritha is broken due to the fact that adharma gains predominance over dharma, then it is said that gods are said to incarnate or take avataras in order to restore the in order to restore the equilibrium. If the equilibrium is broken due to these adharmic principles, then there need to be a restoration into the dharma. So that is going to be the one. We have seen two aspects, that is artha and kama. So dharma, three aspects we have seen. Artha, kama, dharma. So artha and kama leading to dharma. Then the next one is that moksha. Moksha means liberation or total freedom. The Sanskrit word moksha is derived from the root word muk. This root means to emancipate, to release, or to free oneself from. So what is that binds one person? That is going to be, that is what is said is, a person is under the clutches or the bondage. One is under the bondage because of one's search or the trishna or the longing for, that makes him to be bound. Indian tradition considers moksha as the ultimate goal of life. So what is that moksha? Free from the clutches or the desires of this world. If you look a little bit into the very reason of the sorrow or the reason for man's problems in life, we will see that Buddha has given a very good view on that. That is, the whole desire is the cause of all this sorrow. So we need to free oneself from that clutches of the desire or the karmic principles as called. The theory of karma tells that because every action produces a fruit, or the action brings in fruit, good fruit or bad fruit, depending on the type of your action. So if the accumulation is so much on the bad karma, then it takes many life birth, the recyclic life or the samsara or the rebirth in order to wash away your or get yourself cleansed of all the karmic principles. That is seen as the moksha. How do you free yourself? Indian tradition considers moksha as the ultimate goal of life. The sufferings of man are due to avidya. What you require is vidya, the true education. His original ignorance about self. So avidya is about the ignorance about the self. He has been oblivious of his true identity. He attaches himself to worldly objects. Tempted and pressed by everlasting lust and insurmountable desires, he remains bound to the mundane objects. When knowledge, vidya, dawns on him, he overcomes the dualities of the world and identifies himself as the infinite, eternal being, having been completely free from all attachments, expectations, and desires. The liberated soul attains moksha. So what is moksha? Moksha is the goal. So that is the freedom, ultimate freedom from the bondage of this world. And why this bondage? Bondage is due to avidya, ignorance. Ignorance about your true self or the true identity of yourself. And this self gets really attached to or tempted and pressed by everlasting lust and insurmountable desires to the worldly objects, and he remains bound to the mundane world. So this is what happens. The earthly or the passing things or the temporary things are given true value as permanent things, and I attach myself to that, the possession of that. thinking that that is the one which is going to give me ultimate happiness, the permanent joy. Hardly I possess one of that, I know that it is not that. I have something else more wanting to possess. Then one after another, my desire is increasing, going on and on. So all the time I pin my desire in the possession of one earthly good or the other. It's not going to end. It's going to be more and more. For example, when we receive a sum of 10 rupees today, then my whole calculation would be, what shall I do with this 10? How shall I make it to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 80, and it goes on the multiplication. So that's how the desire works. Man is very not easily satisfied. He wants more and more. And this is how he gets himself into, or get himself into the clutches of the mundane world, the goods of this world. So he feels that possessing these, that he is going to get the ultimate happiness. So when Vidya dawns on him, the wisdom, the knowledge dawns onto him, and then he begins to see the real nature of the things. They are impermanent, insufficient. They are not the ultimate goal of my happiness. So I have to search for it elsewhere. The true identity of myself, that I belong to the infinite, that is the part of me, I have to join there. Aham Brahmasmi, that is the final realization, or my joining into the realm of that which is that infinite. So when Vidya dawns on him, he overcomes the dualities of the world and identifies himself as the infinite, eternal being. Having been completely free from all attachments, expectations and desires, the liberated soul attains moksha. So when moksha is attained, there is no more desires, no more attachments, no more expectations. It's a state wherein no further rebirths are occurring. So that is visualized as the moksha, free from all the clutches. Now, going from that, that is the a step further to the philosophy, the systems in Indian philosophy. We say that Vedas are the oldest scriptures of the world. We said they are the authority. They are from time immemorial, therefore they are taken without much question, or they are the authority on which the whole basis of philosophy, Indian philosophy, is built upon. So they are the ancient references or the scriptural basis which we have. So Vedas are the oldest scriptures in the world. The Indian philosophical systems are classified according as they accept the authority of the Vedas or not. The systems of Indian philosophy are classified into two groups. So depending on the Veda. Why Vedas? They are the ancient documents on which we can rely on. So a time when nothing of the modern things were existing, and those were the times the sages and the rishis and the seers, they had an intuition, a vision of the reality. How did they get it? Or what was the speculation they have made, and the reality, the experience of the reality which they have experienced, and that they have tried to express in hymns. Maybe in the beginning through the oral transmission, later on they have written down. Of course, there is a limitation of what is being transmitted, because one's experience is not, you will not be able to fully put it into words. It is beyond words. An experience is much more richer and deeper than mere expression of it or the narration of it. However you narrate, it is difficult to give exactly what has happened to you. And even if you find certain words, even the hearers may not grasp that. So there is a lot of limitation on the words which we use to express the experience of reality as such. And therefore, each person needs to go through that, and not the mere idea of what others have said. So that is their experience of the reality. So what is important here is that you begin to have that an experience of the reality. And this way, the people who really asked the fundamental questions concerning life, they have had an experience and they tried to share in different ways. And it was also written down, and thus in hymns what they have composed, they have become the basis, or the Vedas, they have become the basis of that, or the basis of the division is based on the acceptance of the scripture as an authority, and or the rejection of the scripture as an authority. So based on that, we have two types of the systems in philosophy, that is the Orthodox system and unorthodox system, also known as heterodox system. The Orthodox systems are Vaisheshika, Nyaya, Samkhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. So these are the Orthodox system, that which accepts the authority of the Vedas. Why Vedas? Because they are the ancient scriptures and they are from time immemorial, and they are the product of human striving to know the reality and the truth. So what they have experienced, they have tried to put it into hymns and words, and that we have the collection, and therefore those things have become an authority. And basing on that scriptural basis, or the Vedas, we divide the entire philosophical system into two: orthodox and heterodox, or unorthodox. And the orthodox systems are, that is the Orthodox system Vaisheshika, Samkhya, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Nyaya, Samkhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. We have the unorthodox system, that is Charvakism, Jainism, Buddhism. So this falls under the unorthodox system or heterodox system. Another word for unorthodox system is heterodox system. So Charvaka philosophy, Jainism, Buddhism falls under the category of unorthodox system. Very often Purva Mimamsa is referred as Mimamsa only, and Uttara Mimamsa as Vedanta. The orthodox system uphold the supremacy of the Vedas. Orthodox system upholds the supremacy of the Vedas. The unorthodox systems reject the authority of Vedas. Truly speaking, Vaisheshika, Nyaya, Samkhya, Yoga are neither orthodox or unorthodox. These four systems, while originating, neither accepted nor rejected the Vedas. But in the later on classification, they were put it into the orthodox system. Orthodox system form pairs as follows. So we have said there are orthodox system and heterodox system, and this orthodox system form pairs as follows: Nyaya, Vaisheshika, they are one unit; Samkhya, Yoga, another unit; Mimamsa, Vedanta, another unit. In each of the pairs, the first system is concerned with the practice, and the second system focuses on the theoretical aspect. So this is what we have, the systems of philosophy, that is Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa and Vedanta. So these are classified as into the orthodox system. It becomes difficult sometimes to name a single founder or promoter of a system. However, the following are the widely acknowledged as proponents of the above system. So who are the proponents of this system? That's also asked. The Gautama for Nyaya, Kanada for Vaisheshika, Patanjali for Yoga, Kapila for Samkhya, Jaimini for Purva Mimamsa, and Shankara for Uttar Mimamsa. So these are the people who are behind, or to whom it is dedicated, the systems or the prominent figures in this system. So it is difficult sometimes to name a single founder or a promoter of a system. However, the following are widely acknowledged as proponents of the above system, what we have said, the Orthodox system. Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Samkhya, Yoga, Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. So who are the peoples acknowledged as a proponents of the system? Gautama for Nyaya, Kanada for Vaisheshika, Patanjali for the Yoga, and Kapila for Samkhya, and Jaimini for Purva Mimamsa, and Shankara for the Uttara Mimamsa. So these are the little bit of a looking into the development of Indian philosophy, how it has gone through. Now we come to the other side of that, is unorthodox. Charvakism is believed to have been promoted by Charvaka. Vardhamana Mahavira is acknowledged as the founder of Jainism, and Gautama Buddha the founder of Buddhism. We come to the Orthodox Hindu school. The main Hindu Orthodox or the Astika group. So there are two groups we have said, that is the Orthodox group and unorthodox groups. Orthodox group is also called Astika system, which they believe in the authority of the scripture. So they are called the Astika group, and the other one, unorthodox, it is called a Nastika group. So different names are there. One is orthodox, unorthodox, or heterodox. Then one is the Astika system and Nastika system. Then the main Hindu Orthodox or Astika school of Indian philosophy are those confided during the medieval period of Brahmanic Sanskrit, the Sanskritic scholasticism, and they take the ancient Vedas, the oldest sacred text of Hinduism, as their source and scriptural authority. So the Astika system takes the scripture as their authority on which it is based, the oldest sacred text of Hinduism, that's the Vedas, as their source and scriptural authority. What is Sankhya means? Sankhya is the oldest and orthodox philosophical system, and it postulates that everything in reality stems from Purusha, self or the soul or mind, and Prakriti, matter, creative energy, agency, energy. It is a dualistic philosophy, Prakriti and matter. That is a dualistic philosophy, although between the self and the matter rather than between the mind and the body, as in the Western tradition, and liberation occurs with the realization that the soul and the dispositions of matter, steadiness, activity and dullness, are different. So we have the two major scriptural divisions here, or the system, the whole philosophy is divided into two, orthodox group and unorthodox group, basing ourselves on the aspect of the fundamental aspect of the acceptance of the authority of Vedas and the non-acceptance of the authority of Vedas. So that becomes the very central point or the view of making it.